episode 28 of Motormouth. Here's your host, Brendan Kelly.
Hello everybody and welcome to the last episode of Season 1 of Motormouth, the show that keeps you up to date with all forms of motorsport in the Eastern Cape. My name is Brendan Kelly. Paul Bedford is our man in Pretoria doing our final mix, and in Pretoria that's where you'll find our perfectionist producer, Darryl Cookard. Due to tomorrow being a public holiday, we've decided to bring the show forward by one day as one of our team will be traveling down to the Wild Coast for the Christmas break. And whilst on the topic of the team, on behalf of Darryl, Paul and myself, thanks once again must go out to Shaun Gradwell and Natalie for the accommodation over this past weekend in East London, where we did the live stream of the Border 100 race day. It is certainly appreciated. And special mention must be made of the following businesses that sponsored the live stream: to Best Drive, Super Value Foods, WG Micah in Queenstown, Budget Kitchen Cupboards, Car Connection, Bucky Connection, Elco Truck and Haulers, Crossway Motors, Strictly VW, East London Towing and Recovery, Master Gearbox Diff and Prop Shaft Centre. A huge thank you. I think the live stream went down very well. And then to Simon Thiessen from Thiessen Power Products as well for the use of the generators that we've had. Please be so kind as to hit the share button on whatever platform you're watching the show on, as well as keep the questions coming. I follow the show just on my left here on Facebook on the up to 60 seconds page. So please feel free to add any comments, make recommendations or suggestions, or ask our guests any questions as the show progresses. Just having a look at some karting news from the weekend. The final round of the Rock Cup took place this past weekend at Swartkoop's kart circuit near Pretoria, with some impressive results from our Eastern Cape drivers. In the Bambino class, Jack Moore was second overall for the day, leaving him tied on points in first place in the championship. But on a results count out, he ended up second overall. His brother Jack in the Kid Rock class enjoyed a race win and 2 seconds to finish in second place overall. I was just waiting for confirmation of where he ended in the championship. Well, I'm sure we'll bring that up as soon as we get it. And then Red Skulls from Border finished in 14th overall in the very competitive mini rock class that had 21 of the country's best young karters in action. And then in the lightning quick KZ2 class, it was our local man Josh Kutzer who was in fine form, beating a star-studded field to take overall honours. Fabian Lance was second, and Bjorn Rehse finished third overall. And then Brad Liebenberg had a massive accident in race one, severely damaging his kart, so unfortunately ending his challenge for the weekend. Then moving on to the weekend action from East London, from the Border 100 that took place in some really extreme conditions with rain falling for most of Friday, the practice day, into Saturday morning. And then during the regional sprint races, the rain stayed away, but then returned mid-afternoon to cause high drama in the endurance races. We're going to start off by chatting to two of the drivers that took part in the Border 100 endurance race. Joining us now are Quentin Lessing and Darron Gudmanz. Good evening, gents. Welcome to Motormouth.
Good evening, Brendan.
Great stuff. Darron, have we got sound there? You hearing us? Okay, Quentin, we're going to brilliant stuff. Welcome back. We've had you on the show before. Your first time, Quentin, and congratulations, man, winning the Border 100. Just tell us how the race went.
Yeah, we didn't expect to win it overall. We were just going for modified saloon to win that section. We've done it the previous 2 years, so we were hoping to do it this weekend. Obviously, when the rain started falling, part of the puzzle came into place. The Evo is very, very forgiving in the rain. An hour and a half later, and we won it overall. Very chuffed, eh?
I must apologize. You mentioned it an Evo, just in the rain, and that I was under the impression it was a BMW. The shape of it very, very similar to the BMW. So I do apologize for that error during the live streaming. But the car certainly handled it in the rain. I mean, it looked like it was on rails at times when a lot of the other guys were ducking and diving and going off the circuit.
Yeah, I actually got a couple of WhatsApp messages on Sunday asking what motor was in my BMW after the live streaming. I think I was ducking in the rain.
Sorry, I've just clicked on the comment section on Facebook, and I see the comments coming through already. Pierre van der Merwe joining us from East London, Greg Maloney. What's up, Greg? Great to have you watching. And then Jan Dorfling as well. Well done, champ. So you said 3 years in a row that you have won this event. That must be some sort of record.
I'm not 100% sure. 3 years for the modified saloon cars. Last 2 years were in the dry, so I know some of the guys have given us stick because it was wet this year and that's why we won. But last year it was dry and the year before was dry. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Okay, Darren, moving on to you. You opted to use your Samola hill climb car, the car that we know so well from Samola. How is that car suited to endurance racing?
Bren, I didn't actually. So apart from the fact that it wasn't a BMW, I was also driving the first stint in the Evo. The 32 is not an endurance car at all. I did a couple of the sprint races. But, there's still a lot of issues with the car, so it'll go back to the drawing boards. But, I shared the Evo with Quentin for the 3rd year in a row. But he only enters himself as the main driver. I'm just a works driver, like a paid epi. So it's kind of difficult for me to have a lot to say about the race. But, I did the first stint in the car. And the red flag was some bit of a shock because, again, as a works driver, I've never read the rules of a race in my life before, so who knows. But to restart that race, and every time I came past the pits, my pit crew, including my son Matthew, Carl Hart, Garrett, and all the guys, they just turned their back on me. I had no idea where I was. Quentin just ignored me. I thought I'd done about 2 hours already before I eventually got some semblance of response from anybody in the pits. And Carl gave me, I don't know what that was, 2 laps, carry on racing until we pull you in. I didn't really know. But anyway, I did the first stint. Fortunately, we came in and we pitted, and we were very circumspect about our stop. We made sure we did the right time. And when we got out, we were a lap ahead, and Quentin kept it in the black stuff. Unlike me, I threw it down rifles outside on one lap, but it all together. We were really hoping to win the modified saloons because we had a lot of BMW drivers that were chasing us. But ultimately, we won overall, and it's a massive achievement. It really is. I mean, you've got the likes of Desi Goodside, Willie Hepburn, Bigfoot, tried for years to win that event and haven't really got it right. So, kudos to didn't miss a beat.
Typical race of attrition, though, and the conditions just added to that. I mean, we just saw clips of Derek van der Westhuizen in the little HR Focus Golf getting it completely wrong. It must have been quite a challenge with guys going off the circuit or at any given time. You've got to have your wits about you, surely.
It was a hell of a lot easier this year without having too many guys lapping us. Because normally, you have the big guys come down from out of town. So with only traffic in front of you, it was a little bit easier. But my job was also made easier. I mean, when I climbed in, we'd already had a buffer, so I could really drive within myself and just make sure that I kept the gap between us and the BMW behind us. I knew that they were second in mod cars. So, the Lotuses and the guys in front of us, when I was in the car, I had no idea we were in front of them. So I just had to keep the gap between the BMW and, just manage it.
Great stuff. And then any near misses, Darren? You said that you had a little bit of an off-track excursion. Quentin, from your side, didn't come undone anywhere?
No, like I said, I think Darren had to push a bit in the beginning. We started 7th or 8th, so he obviously tried to get a bit of clean air. When I climbed in, we had a buffer, so I just managed the buffer. When I climbed in, Gary Murray was in the BMW. It had a big light bar, so when I went across the start line, I could see the light bar coming out of Beacon, and I just made sure that I kept that sort of distance between us. But that was just for the mod car win. And came in, we won overall.
I see Daniel and Stefan has joined as well. He's asking, please, if you can give him your autograph, and he just says, well done once again. And Peter Goeieman, well done, congratulations, guys. Robert James Green, RJ. At least Derek didn't use his roof this time. So obviously making a comment of Derek van der Westhuizen, and the man well known for throwing that little golf onto its head not so long ago. And then, I mean, just the event as a whole, it's an iconic race up there. And for you guys to end off the season like that, always a really, really well supported day competitor wise. And I mean, you had some interesting cars coming down. I mean, a lot of the open tops coming down to join as well. That must have been a particular highlight. Darren, we'll throw that one at you.
I really not the open tops. We have kind of a love-hate relationship with those guys because most of the time we can't see where they're on the track. So, racing with them it's quite a challenge because you don't really know where they are. But it was really nice to have a lot of the guys down. Willie, unfortunately, wasn't able to make it. He couldn't get his record sorted out. The day before, he phoned me to say he couldn't make it. There were a couple of guys that were planning to come down from the Natal South Coast that didn't make it. But yeah, it's the end of a really, and I think the field was representative, and there were a couple of other 9 hours the weekend before and a 4 hour the weekend. So there were a couple of clashes trying to get the season completed in the limited space that we had. But yeah, ultimately it is what it is. Sometimes you take your wins when you get them, and I think it was an exceptional event. I think that the car, 3 years ago, we nearly burnt that car. It just couldn't do a lap. It was pretty much like Gradwell's car. It just broke all the time. And so we took the 1.6 out of the equation. And it's literally, Quentin went out in one of the heats, the sprint races that morning, and half the back axle fell out. One bolt sorted it out, and there we are on the podium. Won the event. So we were really, really, we were planning to retire at the end of this year. We got our third out, leave on a high and back. But Quentin, when I was having tea with him the other day, was already starting to discuss next year. So I'm not 100% sure where we're going. But yeah, as long as he adds one entry for next year, I'll maybe consider it. But this works driving doesn't really work. Not only Quentin at the end of the
day. Brendan, if I could just say to the guys behind the scene, I mean, I know that the weather wasn't great, but the track was looking fantastic. The grass is cut, everything's neat. There's a hell of a lot of work that's gone into it this year and the year before. There's a lot of guys behind the scenes, the marshals, the officials, all that kind of stuff. A lot of the guys behind the scene, and he's take a lot of credit for the way the event was. It was a fantastic event.
No, that's absolutely brilliant. And before we say goodnight to you, Quentin, we're going to carry on talking to Darren about the historics. Just on behalf of Paul, Daryl, and myself, a personal thank you to both of you for getting involved with the sponsoring of the live stream. You guys certainly grabbed the idea and ran with it, and things are certainly looking good going forward. So far, we've had over 9,000 views on YouTube and Facebook, and I think it's at about 24,000 activations. So that is absolutely brilliant. The feedback that we have got, except for one or two little issues that were out of our control as far as power failures and obviously equipment getting wet, I think the live stream went down really, really well. So thank you guys very much for your support with that and helping us to put it together.
Pleasure.
Cool.
Great stuff. So, Quentin, we'll bid you farewell and all of the best for the festive season. I know you're going to obviously have a really busy time, so we'll carry on talking to Darren about the historics and a car that I know that he was driving. I won't get confused about this one because hell, it's my favorite car. One of my favorite cars up there. In the historics, Darren, that your V8 Capri, I believe it only just arrived back from Villy and late on Friday, and you just jumped in without any testing or setup and went and raced it. Was that the case?
Pretty much. So I got the phone call from Willie on Wednesday morning. I was on EE, and he said, "Dude, I can't make it. The record has got issues." And he just didn't feel it was worthwhile traveling all the way down to East London just to pull my car down. So fortunately, Carl was able to help. We got Ruane from Car Connection, jumped in the van Thursday morning, headed to Joburg, and he got back late Friday afternoon after having a blowout just outside Stutterheim. We fired the car up. I pulled it off the trailer, attempted a donut and nearly wiped out the urinal block on the grass, put it in the pits and fired it up the next morning and went racing, changed tyres and went racing. So, yeah, amazing job by Willie. He basically built an engine out of all the spare pieces I'd left after 3 seasons, and it beat as per normal.
And once again, you and Danny and Stefan had us all absolutely riveted with the close racing. That must have been a hell of a lot of fun to have somebody breathing down your neck for the most part of the race.
Brendan, it was. I think Daniel and I have kind of learned to respect each other as drivers. Me from the experience, him from his youthful exuberance on the track. But there's a lot of close racing. But I want to just take one step back. At our AGM, we had a little side bet with Chris about the cars, the Granada and the Blom Capri. And to their undue gratitude for the racing, they pulled all the stops out, they got their cars ready. And if you look at the racing, I really believe that East London has the best historic V8 racing in the country, bar none. I mean, if Derek had made it with 1 or 2 of his cars with Willie driving, we could have had 9 V8s on the track, which is exceptional. And I watched the YouTube show a couple of times, and Matthew and Mike and the 2 newcomers, or the renewal of the newcomers, they weren't that far behind. I mean, Mike was driving the wheels off his flipping Cobra. Matty, he's settling down in the Can-Am, and to me, it's still the best looking car on the track. It really is. It just looks like it's meant to be racing.
Yeah.
The Sol and Blom, they had a great race. It honestly was flipping impressive. As I said, Daniel and I, we kind of, I know where my car is strong and I know where he's strong. And I think it's probably the closest finish in the second heat that we've had for a hell of a long time. I think he beat me by 2,000th of a second in the second heat, and overall I beat him by 200. So I think that's what racing's about at the end of the day.
Yeah, I know that close was incredibly finished. That finish was incredibly close. Let's get that right. But I'll tell you, one car that I hadn't seen before, it was new to me, was that number 10 Granada, that big yellow Granada. I think Brett Franklin is the guy. Jeepers creepers, what a beautiful sounding car. And it looks like, that thing is just putting down so much power onto the circuit.
100%. As I said, we've got some really, really special cars. And there goes that finish in the. I really thought I'd pipped him. I think Daniel had moved his transponder to a point
in front of his headlights.
But anyway, it's kind of close. I don't think you can get much better than that, honest. And ultimately, that's what people want to see. I don't think they want to see a car that's driven by somebody that is not able to be chased down or raced with by the other guys. And I'm hoping for next year that we can have a consistent 6, 7, 8 V8s on the track and make it worthwhile for the spectators to come and sit and watch us race. Because A Park, the work that's been done on the track is amazing. I sometimes wish I could rather sit on the side and view the cars and watch the racing, because it's exceptionally, the vantage points are unbelievable and the racing's really close. There was close racing in Class B. There was close racing between the Lessings and the guys further down the field. I think we're in for some good times. I think we need to have the guys on the side of the track with their bras and their beers and rooting for a particular car and or driver and kind of sticking with that. And that's where racing originated from, and hopefully we can get it back there.
Yeah, we just hope that sooner rather than later that we'll have spectators back at the circuit. And I know I grew up doing exactly that, standing next to the side of the track or on top of a grandstand on the back of a truck, Brian, and enjoying a couple of cold beverages in the sun, watching racing there, and especially the V8s. I mean, I just remember Ray Brooks in the Rover, that big Rover that he used to come through the S's completely sideways in that car, and that's what it's all about. You know, to me, the historics with the V8s is still the best class to watch your most spectator value. And I mean, just with that finish there, it doesn't get better than that.
Brendan, a lot of guys have a lot to say on the sidelines about our racing, but I can tell you right now that times that we're doing in a 40-year-old car with no aero, no aids, suspension that comes out of a cart horse at the end of the day. I mean, it's leaf springs in the back, and it's a wild ride, and the guys put on a show every time they go racing. And I'm a firm believer that the racing is about the camaraderie that you build with your mates, and the closer the racing, the better. And you really need those guys and at the moment it's for Mahalo, which is actually great, but you need those guys to latch onto a car and or driver and support those guys and cheer them on from the side and come and want to see them win at the races, and that's where you start getting the support and the commitment from the crowd and the paying public and the drivers. I mean, we could drive around there on Sunday and have no spectators or nobody watching, and it's not quite the same thing. It's about the excitement of the show, and the more cars on the track, the better. Always has been. And at the moment in East London, I think the V8s are exceptional. There's a couple of cars that could have joined us that didn't, but to have 10 or 12 cars on the track that are V8s in the historic series is just exceptional, and it's kind of as good as Westbank V8s were towards the end of their career. Just hoping for next year.
No, absolutely. Just Daniel Stefan says you can't retire yet, and then great words, Darren. We certainly miss our spectators. So great that Daniel is enjoying the interactive.
Daniel wishes I want to retire. he's only hoping I'm retiring.
No, absolutely.
Daniel, Willie's 77, I think, and still racing. So I've got a lot of bad Daniel.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, you think you'd like to sit on the side of the track and watch, but there's nothing better now that you can actually take part, be part of the action, and then go back and be able to watch it all, because it's been live streamed all around the world. So thanks once again for your involvement there, and we're going to wrap it there. Thanks very much for joining us again, and enjoy your time down at Bushman's. We hope that you have a very, very restful and a Merry Christmas. Darron Gudmanz, thanks very much for joining us on Motormouth once again.
Thanks, Brendan. Merry Christmas, and we hope we have a better 2021 than we did at 2020. Cheers.
Absolutely. Right, we're going to go for a quick advert break, and we'll see you after the break when we chat to the winners of the Index of Performance Award in the Border 100. Best Drive Treads Tyres East London, your complete one-stop car shop. Visit us for great deals on Continental and General tyres, as well as many other brands. For professional and friendly service, call us on 043 743 7564 or find us on Facebook at Treads Tyres. Treads Tyres is a proud sponsor of Eastern Cape Motorsport. Joining us now should have been the two Shauns, Gradwell and Vallance, who had a great time in the wet, finishing in first place in the Index of Performance. Unfortunately, Shaun Gradwell is not feeling well. He's got a tick bite fever, I'm led to believe. So, Shaun, we hope you will be watching on Facebook. He says he's taken a bit of a clap by the antibiotics, so not really up to it, but hopefully he'll be watching on Facebook and commenting as we go along. So it's a very good evening to Shaun Vallance. Shaun, thanks for joining us.
Evening, Brendan. How are you?
All good, thanks. It was an absolutely awesome weekend up in East London. Great to have been part of the action up there, and always nice. Just the camaraderie and the I want to say the amount of bullshit that flies around the pits. All good bullshit that flies around the pits. Really enjoyable, and it was a great race.
All about the fun of the racing. Barometry cars, we have lots of fun. We always not as nice to each other, everyone says. But when the flag goes down, we race. When the flag's finished, we're back friends again.
Great stuff. Tell us about or let's start off with the sprint racing. You guys, your car once again super reliable. It looked like it was heaps of fun out there in some difficult conditions.
We started in the wet. Was quite tricky there. We were running semis. Murray Ellis was on wet tires, and we managed to qualify in second. So we were quite happy with the results in the qualifying. And then in the wet, we dried out a little bit, and we started getting a bit more times. We changed the ratios with the diff with the bigger tires, and we went to the smaller tires and found we were revving out a little bit. And then as the day got going to dried out, we got faster and faster, and we broke into Class C now. So we had a good day in the sprint races.
That's brilliant. I didn't realize that you had broken through. So that is good news.
Dean must thank Dean Ball for building the motor. He's really built a strong motor, very reliable.
Yeah, Dean, a man who certainly knows his way around a BMW's workings. Paul Berry, he's got some amazing photographs that he's been sharing on Facebook, and I just looking at the guys coming undone all over the place. It must have been tricky during the 1.5 hours of racing to avoid staying out of trouble. Did you have any moments?
Well, we had one or two little moments. As you know, in PE, we tried the 3 hour, and then I never got to ride my car. So the rule was that I get to drive my car. I was the last driver. So I said to Shaun, there's only one rule, you get a chance to drive, please. And he pulled through nicely. Started off, made up a couple of places, and then gave it to us. We were going, and then it was very wet. Shaun set the times, and we just stuck to them.
Great stuff. I see Gordon Bennett has joined the show as well. Good evening, Brendan. Thanks for a great show and live streaming. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone out there. So well wishes from Gordon Bennett. Gordon, you should have been up there in the historic class. It was absolutely brilliant. Then let's where you ran into problems, and then there was that was Shaun Gradwell's questions, but he's unfortunately not joining us here. Sorry, I had a whole lot of questions that I was going to ask him. Fortunately for him, he's not here because we finally got a glimpse of what his car is actually capable of in the modified Heat 1 in the modifieds. That it certainly made me sit up and take note because he's been talking the talk for a long time, and we finally got to see the car actually going. You're not going to comment on that, Shaun?
No, so he's had really bad luck with that car, but we're getting there slowly. We've got the 3 BMWs in our pits there. We've got Shaun's super fast one. Mine and RJ's we run 2 kilowatts different now. Last time RJ was a bit stronger. I put M3 branches and a bit of exhaust, and I'm now pushing a few more kilowatts at him. So the racing's always close. We always try to tell each other, we help each other with tires and setup. We want to race. The closer it is, the more fun it is. It's pointless riding on your own around the track. There's no fun in that.
No, absolutely. Is there a price tag on your car? Because I see Rehse on the screen here wants to buy the car from you.
Tell him it's not a spinning car. You must bring a car and come ride with us.
And then just going back to Shaun Gradwell, and unfortunately the car breaking down in Heat 2, and then as we said he's battling tick bite fever. Apparently the bushes down at Cochabana are all full of ticks. Is that true?
Can't comment no lately. I haven't been able to park there lately. The cars have been very strong in finishing the races, so my comments are quiet there.
You certainly don't want to drop your mate there. I was so looking forward to having Shaun on the show after he so kindly let us stay. The whole Motormouth team let us stay at his and Natalie's house on Friday and Saturday night. So I was looking forward to interacting with him some more. And it was his birthday on the 10th. But I just couldn't believe after receiving his birthday present on Saturday night, just before he left the circuit, he said it was really hard to believe that you guys had beaten the likes of Murray Ellis in the index of performance. Murray, a regular performer in that, in consistent racing, and you guys managing to get one over him now.
Yeah, a really great sportsman. Sent me a message congratulating us and that how well we drove and all that. So take my hat off to him. Really drove. In the sprint races, I tried to catch him. He was very in sprint races. Also, at our home track, we should have had advantage. And yet he seemed to sneak one in past us there. Little Lotuses getting in the way. But yeah, that's the racing as it goes.
No, great stuff. Shaun, thanks once again for joining us on the show, and congratulations once again on winning the Index of Performance, and thanks for your participation so far in season 1 of Motormouth. It's always a pleasure to have you guys on the show with us.
Nice, Brandon. Enjoy your Christmas and Happy New Year.
Likewise, thanks very much to all of you guys. We hope that you have a decent break. Right, we're going to go to another advert break, and then we'll catch up with the driver that dominated the modified saloon sprint races, Bevan Schwartz.
With over 60 years of financial planning experience, Skybridge Capital has sound solutions for your financial needs. Our client commitment and unbiased approach enables us to build tailored investment portfolios for the individual and their changing circumstances. We specialize in retirement and estate planning, wills and deceased estates, as well as local and offshore investment planning.
Prana Eco Car Wash is a new waterless concept in cleaning cars. You can give either Buvy or Matthew a call for prompt and efficient service. Their numbers are on the flyer that is on the screen now. These guys are mobile, so they'll come and clean your car wherever it is convenient for you to have it done. Prana Eco Car Wash, a new waterless concept in cleaning cars. As I mentioned, our next guest won the modified saloons after enduring an early threat from that big BMW of Shaun Gradwell. It's a very good evening to Bevan Schwartz.
Good evening, Brennan, and thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. I see you stayed at Shaun Gradwell's house while you were here. I'm just a bit afraid that the house won't be there for the next Border 100 because he's putting all that money into his BMW to catch my V8.
Yeah. The money that he's spent on the car. I mean, there's been lots of development that's gone into it, but for a change, we actually saw the potential. He's been talking for so long.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that second heat when he challenged me. It was nice, and the first 2 laps or 3 laps was nice. At least I had somebody there to dice with. Because normally I'm all by myself, and it becomes boring, and it's not what I want. But what else can I do? I bought the car to race. The other guys must up their game and come and join me. There is old West Bank V8s for sale. Buy them. Come and join me. I mean, I can't degrade myself with a slower car to be part of the fun.
No, absolutely.
And obviously people want to see V8s. So, I'm in catch-22 here.
No, you're right. We need to encourage the Group A cars from PE to come up there more often. The guys, I don't know why they don't like to put the Group A cars on the Grand Prix circuit. To me, it is the ultimate circuit for the big bangers. I've
spoken to the Srabantis when I was down there. I always try and support the PE guys. I always go down there. Nick Davidson, the boys, Ian Riddle, those guys are quick. They're quick. They can beat me. But the guys just don't want to come to East London. So what must I do? I don't know. I support them. I don't win in P all the time. I get beaten. I take a hiding.
Yeah.
But they don't want to support us. So I don't know what else, I'm saying to you. Yeah.
Yeah. But tell us about the weekend. I mean, in difficult conditions, but your car is looking like you've done a lot of work onto it, because it is looking and sounding very, very proper at the moment.
Yeah. What happened was the last Border 100, 2019, I had a noise. I thought it was in the engine. So I took the motor out. I sent it up to Pitt Frost up in Joburg, a brilliant engine builder. He stripped the motor. I've been racing that car for 5 years, that motor. Stripped the motor. He phoned me up. He said, there's nothing wrong with it. Something wrong with your ears. It must be the gearbox. So I took the gearbox out, sent it up to him, the problems with the gearbox. So I said to him, while it's there, just refurbish the motor, refurbish the gearbox. Took the shocks out, sent them up to Franco de Matteo, did the shocks for me. Took the body kit off, sent it to Porky de Bruin, our local guy in East London, yeah. And he did the whole body, the fiberglass body. And just did a complete refurbish. And of course, COVID-19 came. This was in February now. And then COVID-19 came, and of course, everything just came to a grinding halt because Pitt couldn't get spares and et cetera, et cetera. So we only got the motor back, I think, 12 days before the Border 100. And my guys, Shannon Barron and Frankie, they did a fantastic job, put everything back together, reassembled that whole car, got us ready for Friday. And it rained on Friday, and of course, qualifying Saturday it rained as well. But fortunately, I had wet weather tyres, and I qualified on pole on a 146 on the wets. They surprised me. I haven't driven. I drove a long time ago in the wet, but it was a long time ago. And they surprised me the way they actually hold. And when I came back into the pits, there was actually steam coming off the tyres. Like the Formula One's wet weathers work in the wet, where there's steam coming off them. Then you know they're working. And my car was actually throwing a rooster tail down the straight, the way that those wet weathers worked, pulling the front wheel water toward the back wheel and then pushing it to the center and throwing a rooster tail. And it was quite a nice experience, driving in the wet and qualifying. I think I did a 146, but I think I could have actually went quicker.
Were you surprised to see Shaun Gradwell up there with you? I mean, when the lights went out, heat number one, and you and him went into Potters next to each other.
Yeah, the first heat obviously had a problem, so I backed off completely because I waste tires and etc. etc. And then what happened with me backing off? He had a better lap time than me when his car came right or something. Something came right by itself, apparently. I don't know. So he got pole position for the second heat. And look, I must be honest, Shaun's car in a straight line goes the clappers. It really goes. And there's only one corner in East London, and all the guys know, Darron, Damien, they all know. The old thing is who's got the balls for Potters. And I thought to myself, I've got to get to Potters before him. If I get into Potters before him, I should be fine. Which I did. But he was all over me for the first three laps, which is so nice. This is what motorsport's about, as Darren was saying earlier on. You don't want some oak so far ahead. It's boring. It's boring for me, let alone a spectator, I promise you. But as I said earlier on, it's not my fault that I've got an old ex-West Bank V8 car. The other guys must take up to the game. I mean, Martin van Zimmerman's got a beautiful Nissan Skyline. I was down there last week, Sunday. He was doing 25s, quicker lap times than me. You should have been there. I don't know why he doesn't come and join us. So, yeah, I don't know. In that aspect, I don't know what to say from my side. But Shaun, yes, he's pushing, but I think I'm going to empty the bank account. I think he must rather just go and buy all West Bank V8 for about 600,000 and come and join me. Then we have a ding-dong bounce.
I saw there was a comment from Leslie Weigelt, I think it was, support from your family in Johannesburg and Dallas, Texas as well. And that one thing during the live stream that I noticed, Jeepers, you've got support from all around the world. Is family that you've got over there, or you?
Yes, it's all family of mine. Yes, yeah, they always try and follow me as closely as possible with my motorsport. And your program now is just like put an edge on everything now. I think this is the way to go, this live streaming. Me and my company, Elko Truck and Haulers, in future for live streaming, we are 100% committed for sponsorship. And I'm in for the next live streaming. Something else exciting, talking about getting cars to compete with me. My RX-8 Rotary, which my I call him my second son, Shaun Vallance, rides.
I see there's a comment on screen now there. He says the Mazda's going to sort you out.
Yeah, I think that car should be up there with me and Shaun, and Shannon should be there with that. I have no doubt about that. But what impressed me though was the field of modified saloons on Saturday. All your little golf and things at the back of the grid. You know what? You need those people to add to numbers. You can't laugh at, you're racing a golf. No, you need them. That's what makes up the field. That's what makes up the field of 49 vehicles. And yes, as Darren was saying, the historics are growing nicely, but the field's a bit small. But yes, they got a lot of V8s. But the modified field, I mean, when you're driving behind the pace car and you see 39 cars behind the pace car, it's a wonderful sight.
Yeah, but with the live streaming and so many cars on track, then you can follow the races within a race, because everybody down the field is involved in a ding dong battle down, and it's not all just about the leaders. So it was a great opportunity for us to feature on the different classes that were taking part. So, and I think that the live streaming went down really, really well in East London.
It absolutely, you know what, Joe? You just did the right thing at the right time, and this is the future. Even after the COVID, when you can get spectators, I think live streaming still, like you said. Now I've got people all over the world watching. I mean, they can't fly from Australia to come watch me. They can watch on live streaming. So it's the way to go in the future, the live streaming. And as you said as well, down the field from that, you got little patches, 4 guys having a ding-dong dice. I saw there the BMWs, Tian Kutzer and the guys were. And, yeah, it's not all about the leader. But, yes, it is. I suppose at the end of the day, we know financially with everything that's going on, everybody knows what's watching this program. It's tough financially. To keep a business going, let alone still do motorsport.
Yep. No, absolutely.
And I was impressed that 39 cars on the grid with the economic climate we're in at the moment, that we had 39 cars on the grid, and that was so impressive. And I must say as well, a big thank you to Bruce Butler. That car puts 10, 11 cars on the grid every race meeting. And I really appreciate what Bruce does for Border Motorsport Club and for Regional Modifieds.
No, echo those sentiments exactly. Before we go, Bevan, we noticed a mobile sticker on the windscreen of your car over the weekend. Have you joined the V8 Supercar Series for next season?
Yes, look, I rode with them last year. Not last year, sorry, not 2016, 2017. We did Carl Army, 2 Carl Army meetings. But yes, 2021, I'll be doing not the whole event. I'll be doing Cape Town and maybe 1 or 2 swap-ups. As going back to the economy, it's a bit expensive for me to tow and travel up to Joburg and Pretoria. But I'll definitely be doing, I think it's the 23rd of March is Cape Town. I'll definitely be going there, and then I would like to do 1 or 2 meetings with at Swakops. Fantastic bunch of guys. the V8 cars. Fantastic bunch of buggers. I'm on a WhatsApp forum group with them, and they're a lovely bunch, and we help each other. They help me if I need spares or advice. Terry Wilfred, I speak to him once a week. Lovely bugger, helps me a lot. So yes, I'd like to also support them. But as I say, all their meetings are up in the Transvaal. So it's expensive to tow and travel up there, and it's all about, it's a financial thing basically at the end of the day. Yeah. So that's
great
why
stuff.
I put them on. Was sent to me by Terry Wilford to get ready for Cape Town in March.
Absolutely brilliant. We look forward to watching the progress next season. We wish you all the best of luck, and thanks for joining us on Motormouth, and thanks once again for the commitment in getting behind the live stream. It is really appreciated.
Thank you for what you do for motorsport. It's much appreciated, really.
Brilliant stuff. It's a great team effort. Bevan, we wish you and your family all the very best for the festive season. Have a really peaceful Christmas. All the best. Thanks very much for joining us on Motormouth.
Will do. Good night.
There we go. We move on to our next guest. It's a really long show tonight. We've still got 2 guests left. Joining us now is a man who made the trip down from Johannesburg with his Lotus and then really set the pace early in the Border 100 until things went wrong. Welcome to the show, to Motormouth, Glenton Rebello. Good evening, Glenton, and thanks very much for sitting there so patiently waiting.
Pleasure. It's wonderful to be on your show.
Yeah, and also for taking all the abuse from these guys, moaning about the Lotuses in the wet. They can't see the cars because they're too low. But I mean, everybody certainly appreciated having so many Lotuses down there. They certainly fly around East London track.
Yeah, quite simply, if you don't own a Lotus, you don't like them because they are so fast, and for what they are, like I say, simply, if you like them and you got one, you love them. If you don't, you hate them. And I've had one for 18 years and thoroughly enjoy it. And they've asked me to race all kinds of different things, and nothing comes near.
So 18 years, 2002, you kicked off your motorsport career, and was it in the Lotus straight away? Is that what you started in and what you've stuck to the whole way?
Yeah. So for me, it was always going to be a Lotus, and initially it was always an Opel motor. So similar to the JPE7 that Caterham brought out in the late 90s and so on. So we initially had a Superboss motor, quite highly modified, made 170 kilowatts on the wheels. It took me a couple of years of fighting and plugging, and we ended up winning 3 years in a row, which I was very happy to do, the championships in the Lotus Challenge. And then we moved into the NECC, which is the sports cars grouping in Johannesburg, and got back into it and enjoying it. Yeah.
I see Paul Berry, one of the guys that has shared a lot of photographs with us, just saying that Lotus is wicked. He's got some really good photographs of it from the weekend.
Yeah,
and then
it truly is a special car.
Yeah, and then I just had a quick look at your car on Friday going down the pit lane, and just had a look at the engine in that the Nissan, the turbocharged Nissan engine in that. How long have you run the Nissan motor for?
So we've been running it for now 2 years and had a couple of teething issues, but I believe we got on top of it now, and it's just flying. For the Lotuses, I hold the lap record at East London, which was a 25.7 that I set about 11 years ago. And unfortunately, with the weather, I wasn't able to get a chance to go and beat it. But to give you perspective, the previous best speed we were able to do was like 237, and that was at the bottom at Copa. And before Anton, who was my co-driver, before he got to the end of before Potters, he was doing 245. So the car is really, really quick, but still has all the nimbleness of a 7. So it goes around all the corners quick, but in a straight line, it's just bugs. Yeah.
The track conditions really tricky. I mean, with that water park development that they're busy with, the main straight has got big trucks on it every day. So there's been lots of diesel put down, lots of dirt on the track, and obviously the wet conditions couldn't have made it easy, especially for a car with such a light, such a lightweight vehicle. Tell us a little bit about the track conditions.
So I did the qualifying. I didn't actually do the first session. That was my co-driver, Anton Muller. And in the qualifying, I want to say to you, I was actually really happy. We had the wet tires on, and I was quite comfortable doing low 44s, and felt it could go more. Anton said that he had got a lot of, after Rifle going down towards Copacabana, there was a lot of like undulation on the road. So he said he literally couldn't see the dash. The vibration was so high. I hadn't noticed it, but he did 30 laps and I did 7. So, yeah. But I want to say to you, a great track.
Yep.
And, to me, coming back after 11 years to go back on the track, it's a brave track. You've got to put your A game out and be prepared to, when you go through Rifle and your turning point is looking at the sky, it's a special thing to do. Yeah.
No, absolutely. What really impressed me was so many Lotuses from around the country. How did it come about? Do you guys choose an away race to go to, and then, or how does it work?
Not really. There's quite a strong club in the Natal area, and the Lotus Club of Natal, and a great group of guys, and they were the bulk of the guys that were down there. There were some local East London guys in there as well, and then myself and Gerard Kricher came down from Joburg, and there is quite a bit of club around Lotus because there are such unique cars. And like I say, once you own one, you fall in love with it, and there's nothing else.
It certainly looks like a go-kart on steroids. They must be heaps and heaps of fun to drive.
Yeah. For me, the most interesting thing is how forgiving they are, in that you can get it sideways and a small correction of the steering wheel, and you're heading in the right direction. It's not a case where just you get it out of shape and you flinged off the track. Colin Chapman did an awesome job of building an incredible car. We have taken it to the next level by putting such a big motor in it and so much power. I don't think he ever envisaged 320 kilowatts in a Lotus 7. We're talking about a horsepower power to weight ratio of 750 horsepower per ton. In anyone's world, that's angry.
Absolutely. And I mean, you guys had such a decent lead on Saturday, and then it all came undone. What was the problem? Where did it go wrong?
Yeah, so I've had an issue with the gearbox or the clutch for a while, and I was able to manage and deal with it. And Anton wasn't as comfortable with it. I tried to explain to him what to do to work around it. I should have fixed it in the first place, but quite simply, but when I went out, finally, I couldn't select first gear because it's a sequential gearbox to get into second gear and get down the pit lane, and that was the end of it. But to know that Anton had literally lapped everyone up to including second place, running 3 seconds a lap plus, quicker than anyone else, was a great achievement in itself. And we've made a commitment. We're coming down to the 4 hour in February, and we've got some. There will be other cars there, much faster cars as well. We've got some unfinished business. So yeah.
Great stuff. I really enjoy talk like that. A challenge being thrown down. Glenton, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show, and we also wish you all the very best for the festive season. Hope you're going to take a break and have some family time. It's all the best, and thanks for joining us on Motormouth.
Yeah, thanks, and thanks for the great show, and good luck to keep on showing the stuff. And yeah, motorsport's an incredible part of life, and you guys are promoting it, so thanks.
Brilliant stuff. Thanks very much. All right, we're going to head on straight into our next and our final guest for this year, for season 1 of Motormouth, and that was the winner of the Border 100 motorcycle race, and it's a very, very welcome return back to Motormouth, Bradley Rehse.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
Oh, great, Brad. Thanks. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. The link is brilliant. So far, touch wood, we haven't had any technical issues yet tonight. So great. Thanks for joining us. My producer shouting in my ear to shut up. Don't jinx the show just yet. But what started out as a dry race ended up as a rather damp affair. Tell us about the race and how the conditions changed out there.
Well, yeah, like you say, it started out dry. We went out, we knew that it was pretty cloudy and we were expecting the rain. And I think about 10 laps in, it probably started to rain the first time. And it didn't rain the whole track, which was the worst part. I mean, we went out and you had a dry Potters, a dry Rifle, and Cochabamba was fairly dry, but the next thing, the S's was wet, the sweep was wet, and Beacon Bend was very, very wet. So we had to kind of pedal around there slowly for a couple of laps. Fortunately, the rain didn't stay too long. Track started to dry up a bit again, managed to get a bit of rhythm going in the dry. And then, yeah, Mother Nature decided to give us a few more wet laps towards the end. The last 3 laps or 4 laps, it was wet and actually very wet when we crossed the finish line. So I was rather glad that we got the bikes done before the cars got all the wet.
It was great to see a classic old Le Mans start. Is that tradition with the Border 100? Is that the way it normally works?
Yes, yeah. Since I've been riding it for the last, I think I've done about 10 or 11 Border 100s. It's always walk across the road, watch the lights. It's quite a nice concept. I know they do it up in Joburg with 1 or 2 of the events. And yeah, you get to run across the track, and if you don't trip or get too excited, get on the bike and try and ride off in a nice manner. I know last year, Mark Small, whose bike I actually loaned for the event, I think Mark jumped on his bike and didn't realize somebody was holding it and fell over, and a bit of a domino effect on the other bikes. So that was a bit of a giggle last year, but yeah, Mark didn't join us this year. But yeah, the Le Mans start and then off down and obviously do a compulsory pit stop somewhere during the race, depending on your stretch.
Yeah, talking about the stop, when did you pit? Did you opt to come in fairly early, or?
Yeah, I went right around and I pitted straight away on the first lap. I wanted to, obviously, with the index of performance of the guys, you just want to get one bad lap out the way and then hopefully get into a bit of a routine and a rhythm. However, I know in the pics you saw I was cramping up and having to put my legs off and stuff. So perhaps next year I'll put more or less in the middle, maybe have a sip of cool drink or something, stretch the legs. But yeah, it's all part of the fun in that.
Yeah, just watching Mac Burrow's pit stop there, having to run around the bike. I mean, if you probably better to would it not be better to possibly put at the halfway stage thereabouts and just get that blood flowing back through the legs again, by running around, because you can see, as I mentioned to you, you could see that the legs were starting to cramp up there.
Yeah, no, it's just different options. Some guys like to pit right towards the end. Some like to do a bit of a fuel stop. I mean, there I can see on the camera now, that was Chad who ran around. We thought he had enough fuel in his bike, but lo and behold, I think he actually was about half a lap short or somewhere along those lines. But it's all trial and error and fun, and I've run out, I think, once or twice throughout the years I've done it, and yeah, just back then I was a bit fitter, so that's why now I've got to start thinking about pitting different times for stretching and that, But yeah, we'll see what next year brings, and hopefully we'll be there next year.
Yeah, I did chat to Chad afterwards, during the commentary, and when we were expecting him to come around, you had come through and taken the checkered flag, and we were waiting for Chad, because Chad at one stage he was challenging, he was pushing you quite hard, and then on the final lap, when he should have come around, he was nowhere to be found, and our cameras spotted him with 2 corners to go, looking very, very grumpy indeed.
Yeah, I was looking very flustered when I rode it, because that's when I was coming down my slowdown lap, and I saw him hitting the tank, and I thought, oh, has he fallen now? Because it was obviously rather wet. And then I slowed down and looked, and he pointed at the tank, and then I just had a good giggle, and I thought, well, lesson hard learned. So far pushed to the pits, and I'm sure he won't do it next year, So yeah, kudos to him. But he still ended up winning the index of performance, because I think you only have to complete 90% of the race distance.
Correct.
And yeah, with running out of fuel, and I actually checked his times afterwards, he was bang on the money index-wise. I think he's very young. I don't think the wet affects him much, and if he has a little tumble, he doesn't mind missing work or whatever he's up to these days. So yeah, he rode very well, I must say.
Brilliant. And you mentioned this Border 100 was number 10 or 11 for you. How many times have you bagged the title?
This is the first time I've pushed across the line, as they call it, and then obviously index of performance is a big accolade in the border area, and I've won that one once. So yeah, this one's eluded me a lot of times, but fortunately it just all came together. Sadly we didn't have all the usual suspects, a lot of the guys on the big thousands and that, but understandably in the weather conditions, you don't want to throw one of those bikes down the road. It's end of the year. Like all the guys have been saying, it's been a tough year. So I think a lot of guys are just happy to ride a bit of practice and stuff. And if it wasn't for them, rather just pack up and bring it on next year, hopefully bigger and better,
No, absolutely. Talking about next year, the plans, your particular plans for next season, what's on the cards?
Still, I won't say up in the air, but obviously I'll still be on the 600. Hoping to maybe do a couple more power sport events on a smaller bike. I don't really want to reveal what that is yet. But yeah, I'll be riding a lot of obviously the Prix regionals, East London regionals, and then you've got the World of Motorcycle series, the Monocle, which is just all bike. That's a national series, so we'll probably try and do 2 or 3 events of that, maybe a Prix, a Red Star, just to mix it up. And part of the fun is traveling away and camping with the boys and getting to ride the different tracks and competitions. So yeah, hopefully we'll be at every regional event in East London and PE next year, and that's sort of what I'm aiming towards, put it that way.
That's absolutely brilliant, and we look forward to following your progress, especially between Port Elizabeth and East London, and obviously hoping to be bringing a lot more of the live streaming. How did you find the live streaming? Have you managed to go back and watch some of it?
Yeah, no, I ended up watching. Well, I tell you, I can't believe how many of my friends have never ever been to the track that were sending me WhatsApp videos and tagging me on Facebook and sending me. That night when we were sitting in the pits, I had guys from overseas that were saying, "Wow, we watched you today," and it's an awesome concept. People that have never seen me ride before, that have known me most of my life, are like checking in and watching. And so yeah, thanks to you guys for putting it together. I know it wasn't easy, and all the camera crew, and in the weather that they sat in there, commentating that on your own. Long time to commentate for 2-3 hours on your own.
2-3 hours.
And yeah,
try 8.5 hours.
Yeah, a whole day. It really was great. And even my folks have watched a bit because they couldn't be there, and just obviously with the COVID stuff, a lot of people that couldn't be there. But just like what Bevan then was saying, the guys that were there in A Park to see it that full, and the guys so excited and probably hungry to just see and smell motorsport again. Over and above that, yeah. Even the guys who were at the track, I know my mate Casey and them, they were all watching on their phone so that they could see the whole circuit while they were watching us in one section come through a corner, So I think everybody really enjoyed it and got on board with it. And yeah, just thank you to all the guys behind.
Brilliant stuff, Brad. As always, it's been a pleasure having you on Motormouth with us. Please enjoy the break if you're going to have one, and good luck for next year. As I say, we will certainly be watching your progress with keen interest.
No, lekker. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me again, and blessed Christmas to all you guys, New Year and all that. And yeah, no swimming at the beaches, but we'll definitely see you guys out and about, hopefully next year soon.
Oh, great stuff. All you got to do if you want to go to the beach is get a fishing permit, and then you're allowed to go to the beach. So there's the first of the loopholes already. So Brad, thanks once again. Cheers, mate. We'll catch up with you soon.
Cheers, guys.
Right, folks, the final EP Regional Saloon Car Championship, or the final results of the EP Regional Saloon Car Championships were posted last week. And we had the new 2020 champion, George van Balen, on the show with us. Stefan Okamp finished second. Dion Slubbert was third. But now let's have a look at how the various classes ended up. In Class A, it was Dion Slubbert that emerged victorious over Bryn High. Nick Davidson finishing in third. Class B, it was obviously George van Balen, who was overall champion. He was the winner there, followed by Gordon Nolan. Yes, my friend Gordon from Saturday. And Duncan Lethbridge in third. Gordon Nolan, karma's such a bitch. Your car ended up the embankment off the circuit on Saturday. But thanks for your coming to visit us during the live commentary and making me use the F-bomb live on air. In Class C, it was Quinsley Sale who was first, followed by that man Gordon Nolan again, and Dr. Gerard Oosthuizen in third place. In Class D, Stefan Okamp, obviously he was first there, followed by Jean-Andre Marais in second and Derek Goos third. Moving on to Class E, Daniel Bright won Class E ahead of Derek van der Westhuizen. And Jean-Andre Marais finishing in third there. Then the last class, Class F, was won by Pat Fourie. Second was Ashwin Harry, and third was Kelsey Davidson. In total, there were 34 cars that took part in the championship, so well done to each and every one of the drivers and teams. And we look forward to a bigger and better championship next year. It's just around the corner. We certainly can't wait, and just can't wait for things to get back to normal. Once again, before we close off, just a massive thank you to the following companies that embraced the concept of live streaming with us and made it possible for us to bring you the 8.5 hours of racing action from East London. So once again, a thank you to Best Drive, Super Value Foods, WG Micah Queenstown, Budget Kitchen and Cupboards, Car Connection, along with Bucky Connection, Elco Truck and Haulers, Crossway Motors, Strictly VW, East London Towing and Recovery, Master Gearbox Diff and Prop Shaft Center, and Thiessen Power Products. A massive thank you. It was certainly, thank you guys for embracing the whole concept and running with it. It certainly is really appreciated. Folks, a final reminder to please share the show across all of your social media platforms, as the show is about you, all of the racers out there. It's a platform for you not only to promote yourself, but your sponsors as well. Thanks for watching, and on behalf of Paul Bedford, Daryl Cookard, and myself, we wish you a relaxed festive season. For those of you that are going away on holiday, please travel safely. We look forward to seeing you in the new season season 2 of Motormouth. From me, Brendan Kelly, it's goodbye until next time.